भेजो ना, जाना भोर में भेजो, वहाँ देखो जी मुंडू बोले, इसका ऑर्डर देखो इस चाइना का, और इस नेताओं का। मेरा मेडल पड़े हुए, मैंने ठरका दिया, तोड़ लिया, मेडल तोड़ लिया ने मेरा,
हम पिछले 61 दिन से जंतर मंतर पर एक्स सर्विसमैन रिले हंगर स्ट्राइक पे बैठे हुए हैं। अभी ऑल ऑफ अ सडन ये 14 तारीख को आके आधा घंटा पहले आके चीजें मूव करने लग जाए, ये कहाँ लिखा हुआ है?
To tell us that you are to be evicted, to tell us that you are a security hazard, not acceptable.
प्रधानमंत्री ने वायदा किया है, OROP का वायदा किया है, उनको सिर्फ एक लाइन बोलनी है कि इस डेट तक मैं ये काम कर दूंगा।
वो लागू नहीं कर रहे, संघर्ष कर रहे थे ये लोग, इनके ऊपर इस तरह से तो नहीं करना चाहिए, तो इसकी हम घोर निंदा करते हैं।
You are tinkering with something which is going to burn you. You're playing with fire.
Well, images of war veterans being pushed around at Jantar Mantar this morning as the Delhi police tried to evict them in the name of security, even leaving some in tears. These have sparked massive outrage, forcing the police to finally back off. Many ask, how can our veterans, some more than 80 years old, who've been our protectors, now pose a security threat to the country? Did these elderly men who face bullets in wars have to suffer the insult of being shoved about by the cops and workers of the New Delhi Municipal Corporation? What was the point of tearing down their rather flimsy shamiana, which protected them from the rain? What was the point in taking away their generator? Are these men a security threat at all? Good evening and welcome to The Buck Stops Here. I'm Vishnu Shom. Tonight, hours ahead of Independence Day, we discuss OROP, one rank, one pension. The question is this: will the Prime Minister finally clear what has been a promise made to lakhs of ex-servicemen and widows in his speech to the nation tomorrow morning? The fact of the matter is this: OROP isn't just about an enhancement in pensions, a few thousand rupees more in many cases. It's about pride, it's about respect, and most of all, it's about honor, the benchmark value of anything and everything associated with military traditions in our country.
They fought for the country. Today they were forced to fight with the police, who came to evict them from Jantar Mantar. The police, citing security reasons, forcibly tried to remove war veterans protesting for one rank, one pension. "82-year-old Bishambar Singh fought 3 wars and has been awarded the Sena Medal. Today's fight, he says, is not just about the pension, but about the pride as well.
तुम जवान हो, हम भी जवान हैं, लेकिन तुम्हारे पास डंडे राइफल हैं, लेकिन ये ना सोचो हम तुम मारोगे।
It soon became a political issue. Delhi Chief Minister spoke for them and the Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi went to visit.
ये सब लोगों ने अपनी जिंदगी दी है, बॉर्डर पे खड़े हुए हैं, लड़े हैं, मरे हैं। पीएम ने इनको वायदा दिया है, उन्होंने कहा है OROP को मैं करूंगा। हिंदुस्तान की सरकार ने वायदा किया है, वो वायदा पूरा होना चाहिए।
But the veterans are clear the protest is not political, and this reflects in the anti-Rahul chant. For the government, it was time for damage control. Top officials intervened. The Minister of State for Home Affairs spoke to the Delhi Police Commissioner, and the veterans have been allowed to stay. But the issue is far from being resolved. For now, the BJP says it remains committed and one rank, one pension will come sooner than later.
The government is completely committed to the one rank, one pension principle. It's only the arithmetical translation of that principle, because several interpretations are being given, that is being worked out.
But for many of these men who gave India everything, is it too late?
I'm totally in neurology patient due to Bangladesh war and I am disabled. अगर ORP हमें मिलेगा तो मुझे डिसेबिलिटी पेंशन भी में भी फायदा होगा और मेरी पेंशन में भी फायदा होगा, इसलिए हमारा काम ठीक होगा.
One rank, one pension was one of the key promises of the Narendra Modi government. But with the government dithering on the ground, angst and dissatisfaction is only increasing. With Tanima Biswas in New Delhi, Shudhiranjan Sen for NDTV.
So will one rank, one pension be a dream, or will the Prime Minister live up to his own promises and the promises of this government by actually announcing this? Because there's been an intense buzz about this and there's been a huge sense of anticipation. But there's also the reality that there's another buzz, there's another sense that it may not be announced at all, because the arithmetic, and that's the word that Arun Jaitley was using over there, may be too difficult for this government to solve right now. Bottom line, it might be too expensive to give OROP the way these veterans wanted. But more than anything else, OROP, as we've been making the point, isn't just about numbers. It's about a sense of respect for our retired personnel. We're going to be discussing all of this. Joining us now, the former Army Chief, General VP Malik. Thank you, sir, very much for being with us. PN Vijay, spokesperson of the BJP, with us. Wing Commander Vinod Neb. He shot down a Pakistani aircraft in the 65 war. He's also been decorated for his actions in 1971. Shekhar Gupta. Thank you very much, Shekhar. We were having this conversation about a month back, but things have changed since then. We'll be discussing that. We are also very privileged to have Colonel Anil Kaul, a veteran from the IPKF encounter in Sri Lanka. And we're also privileged to be joined by a studio audience with us. They'll ask questions when the opportunity arises. And we've decided to give this program a nationwide feel. So we're going to be reaching out to people across the country for their views. General Malik, let me come to you first. Do you expect, given the differences which have existed, that the Prime Minister will make this announcement on OROP tomorrow?
No, I'm in a very difficult situation. All I will say is that I hope he makes some statement and after working out the arithmetic, because making another statement without working out the arithmetic or going against what has been promised can create more problems. But I don't want to speculate. I really don't know.
Okay, I forgot to introduce General Shankar Prasad, the former Director General of Infantry. He's also with us on this program. Colonel Kaul, what happened this morning? What exactly resulted in the situation where we saw these veterans in tears, your shamiana being torn? Did you not have permission?
Vishnu, before we went on this protest, we took proper permission from the Commissioner of Delhi Police, Mr. Basi, for indefinite relay hunger strike at Jantar Mantar by ex-servicemen. I don't think there is any ambiguity in the wording, indefinite and by ex-servicemen. The permission was granted, and for the last 61 days we have been doing that in the most correct, disciplined and I would say dedicated manner of not crossing the red line of indiscipline. You've seen it for yourself. Everybody who has gone there has seen it for itself. We have not crossed any red lines. Suddenly today morning, without announcement, without any notice, without any reason, this NDMC lot of people, workers, along with a very large contingent of paramilitary forces, mostly CISF and things like that, with the Delhi police hanging around in the background, turned up and started dismantling our shamianas. On being accosted, the answer given was, due to Independence Day sanitization of this area, the whole place, Jantar Mantar, is being cleaned out and nobody is going to be here because anybody in this area may pose a security threat. Well, that came as a bit of a shocker for those who have guarded this country for the last 67 years. To be declared a security threat was very, very ridiculous.
Shekhar, you want to come in on this? The ham-handed approach of the police, the NDMC, shouldn't they have known better? And to call it national security being potentially violated. It's one thing to have rules that say that, look, everybody needs to go, but the irony of this cannot be missed, or it certainly should not have been missed, even on the NDMC and the police.
Look, first of all, I think to say that it's NDMC and police, it's too simplistic. Because in any case, NDMC and police cannot invoke threat to national security. They can invoke section 144 of CRPC. That's a very different thing. And this area, they had permission, so there was no 144. So it's not just ham-handed. I think this is the civilian equivalent of what the Fauji's would call a command failure. That somebody has lost control at the very top. So again, this is a civilian equivalent of sort of a troops running amok while the commanders are looking the other way. And commanders have to account for it now.
You know, it's strange, Shekhar. Command failure is the word that you're using.
Well, would somebody say My Lai was carried out on the orders of the Supreme Commander of US Army? Right? Commanders have to take responsibility. Similarly, in this case, the top political leadership has really messed up. I mean, they know this is a very sensitive situation. And frankly, I have a nuanced view on these demands. But from today on, I think logic will not matter. From today on, these images will determine logic. I believe that BJP has today found its Congress arrests Anna moment. Because they will have no choice but to
PN Vijay, I'll let you come in on that.
They should have done it 1 year back.
I'll let you come in on that in one moment from now. General Prasad, let me ask you this.
Vishnu, I want to come in.
General Malik wants, you go ahead, sir. General Malik, make your point before I go across to General Prasad. Yes, General Malik, go ahead.
Look, in my 42 years of commissioned service, I have never been outraged, angered, anguished as I saw today the image on your TV channel of an elderly Grenadiers Jawan who was wearing medal on his single shirt, and that shirt was torn. I cannot imagine this kind of a thing happening in any country. I mean, look what kind of insensitivity we are showing to the soldiers. Everyone respects the elders, and I want to say this, that people do not have any children in the armed forces. They have no idea of the military traditions. They have no idea of the military ethos. And that is why they are permitting this kind of a thing. I mean, how can you have the soldier who's been sitting peacefully for so many days, and then you go and push and shove and tear off his shirt? I mean, and that also at a time, as Shekhar was saying, sensitive time, and I have no doubt that you have complicated this whole situation of the OROP. But beyond that, I would say that you have, hit him, his self-esteem, his honor, the pride that he has, you have hit him there. And that is going to have a huge impact on everyone.
General Prasad, I've interviewed General Malik at least 30 or 40 times, at least. I don't ever recall a situation where he's been so angry, and I know that that's an anger shared by a lot of people. But just the act of policemen landing up in Jantar Mantar, the decision to do this, the fact that they didn't think about it, they just did it randomly because they were ordered to do it by somebody. The way in which this decision making actually took place, is it not yet another indicator that people don't really care, the bureaucracy doesn't really care, the babus don't really care? It can be all over the papers, and yet this instruction was given, throw them out.
Vishnu, this old gentleman, this senior gentleman whose shirt has been torn today, pulling his medals apart, perhaps is one of those fellows who fought at Kem Kharan or at Asaluttar or at Bangladesh in 1971. And today, he is the man who liberated Bangladesh. He had a great role to play in it. And his medals have been pulled off his chest and his shirt torn. Don't forget, for all you know, his son must be fighting insurgency in an ambush that's taken place today or at the line of control. That old brigadier whom you showed on your television screen on a wheelchair is perhaps one of those gentlemen who went to Ahmedabad at the time of Gujarat earthquakes as the first responder. He is the one who's fighting. That fellow in the red shirt whom you saw is perhaps the guy who pushed the militants off from the Kargil war. These are the people who have fought, and these are the people the government is lauding, saying that we'll rewrite the history of 1965 war, 1947 war, 1971 war, 1999 Kargil war, and we want people to understand and study what the army and the armed forces of India have done to keep this country together. That is what we just heard a week or 10 days ago. So on the one hand, the army recognizes the good work the army has done. On the other hand, those very people, those very fellows whose shirt has been torn, are the ones who are fighting and liberating Bangladesh, or going to Kashmir at the earthquake, or going to tsunami, or going for this flood relief. These are the people. Now this is what you're doing to us. And don't forget, there is a fine percentage, I do not wish to guess, but maybe 60, 70, 80% of people who are sitting there, their children are today sitting in the line of control. As Havaldar, as majors, as captains, as colonels and brigadiers. They're watching their parents being pushed around and boxed like this. What are we doing? See, I just want to make one very important point today. We all respect Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We all think he's one of the finest leaders in the world today, and perhaps the finest India has got. I just want to know, what is his compulsion? What is that power that is preventing him to do what he has been saying over and over again that he's going to do? Is there some power in the government administration which is not letting him do it?
Okay, sir, I get the point you're trying to make, and I'm going to ask PN Vijay. I'm going to ask PN Vijay, the spokesperson of the BJP,
if he doesn't want to do it,
to answer
I just want to make last point, Vishnu. Vishnu, I just want to make last point. And if they do not wish to do it, let them say they're not going to do it because it's too complicated. To go on saying it's arithmetic and just solving the arithmetic problem will take indefinite time.
General, I need to bring in more views. I completely respect and understand where you're coming from. I'll come back to you in a little while from now. Mr. Vijay, is the BJP, does the government realize that the political consequences of this, forget about respect for the soldiers for a moment, but the political consequences of this for you are potentially grave?
Of course we do, Vishnu. I mean, they were not babes in arms. Of course we do. I think there are two issues here. One is the police action, which of course all of us here, we heard the General, we heard Shekhar, is unacceptable and unpardonable. I mean, period. It shouldn't have been done. It is an overreach. That is sanitizing of which NDMC does every year, including my office. But this was stupid. And also, you know, there is a bigger malaise here. We have seen repeatedly on your channel housewives who are protesting about power shortages, students protesting about semester system, farmers walking all the way 100 kilometers and protesting about drought.
Yes.
They are given the same inhuman treatment. And I think there has to be a big change in the attitude of the system towards peaceful protesters. I think we have got it all wrong. And this is, I mean, this is exposed how wrong.
No, so basically you're saying that
the system is
the system needs to be fair to all the protesters at Jantar Mantar because everybody was removed except the army and the armed forces.
No, I don't know about that. What I am saying is, as an ordinary citizen, whenever there is a peaceful protest by college girls or housewives or farmers or ex-servicemen, the system should be sensitive.
Mr.
We should
Vijay,
not be using the tactics which the British used against.
I think what everybody wants to know is a very simple issue over here.
Yeah.
Why does the Prime Minister, the Defence Minister, the Finance Minister not spell it out?
No,
what is the problem?
Vishnu, I think let's not oversimplify things here. You know, as Malik Saab
but
said,
the answer can be very complicated.
No.
There
of
needs
course,
to be an
of course.
answer.
You know, you're talking about 22.5 lakh soldiers, their arrears spread over 28 years in places where there are mothballed records.
Yes.
Are you understanding the problem?
But why?
Have you understood
why
what the number
defense
crunching
minister
is?
or the
Vishnu, you
finance
have any
minister
idea how
or the
much,
prime minister
Vishnu,
come out and say
let us
this?
have some facts. Let us have some facts. Okay. Then the rhetoric and the opinions. The facts are OROP is a given thing. It is now law. It's passed by Parliament. It's out. It is done. Let's say that. Nobody on earth need announce from Independence Day that we are going to bring OROP, because OROP is a fact of life. Now, that is, please accept that. There is nothing about BJP going back.
How is it a fact of life, sir?
Of course.
If you don't even know if you're going to refer to 2011 numbers or 2014 numbers.
You please read the Gazette notifications. You please get your facts right.
Announcing
are
it
you
is
saying,
one thing,
but
to have the facts,
twice.
but to give
Vishnu,
detail about it is
everything. No, ask these friends of mine. There is no legislative issue about this. The issues are, as we call in Delhi, 19 20 ka cheez hai. And I'll tell you what all the government has done. Please listen to me. Today you're painting the government black. Okay. The government has, in the last 6 months, we get about 30,000 complaints from Jawans every year that pension has gone to the wrong place, wrong
Yes.
this, wrong that. We have spent enormous amount of money and put it all on the internet, put documents. We are linking their bank accounts so that there's a seamless transfer of these resources. All that has been achieved. Second, in the budget, union budget, we have made additional 25,000 crores allotment in the defense budget for these purposes. We have the money. The center's financial position is strong. You know, when you come out with something like this, the pay commission, the finance commission, the OROP, there is a lot of detail to be gone through. Vishnu, let me put it otherwise. What do we gain?
No,
we are a political party, right? We are a political party.
But you're losing tremendously.
What do we gain by antagonizing these gentlemen?
No, you certainly don't gain anything. But then why not this clarification from the Prime Minister explaining the arithmetic? We
have you ever got a babu to clear an arrears in pension? Have you tried it?
No,
I hope
I certainly don't need to.
And we are talking about
so
22.5
is that
lakhs.
What the problem is?
Of course.
This is steeped in babudam?
Absolutely. I'll go on record to say, when Arun said this afternoon, it's the arithmetic. He was absolutely right. There is no intention at all on the part of the NDA government. We said this in 2 manifestos. On page 38 of our manifesto, we said we want speedy implementation.
Okay, all right.
So please give it that benefit to us. We don't have any of this thing about delaying this.
Okay, Mr. Vijay, one moment. Let me just go across to Manish Tiwari, the senior Congress leader who also joins us. Manish, is this an argument that you're willing to accept? The argument is that, look, this is steeped in babudam. The entire process needs to be, is long. It's because there is a process that needs to be followed. So political rhetoric aside, there is a reality. The reality is that despite what all of these veterans want, you cannot churn out this kind of money overnight. It's not overnight, not even in several months.
Frankly, Vishnu, for the lack of a better word, it's complete hogwash. All that you need to do is to go back to the 17th of February 2014 interim budget speech of the then Finance Minister, Mr. P. Chidambaram. In para 51 of that speech, he very categorically outlines that the entire issue of one rank, one pension has been accepted by the UPA government. There was an additional allocation of 500 crores which needed to be made over and above what was allocated, under the various pension adjustments which were made between 2006 and 2013. That money was allocated in the February of 2014. So therefore, everything was done, signed, sealed and delivered. All that the NDA government needed to do when they came into office on the 26th of May 2014 was to pick up the ball and run with it. Rather than doing it, they decided to obfuscate, go back on the commitment that they had made in 2 successive manifestos and repeatedly from every dais and every podium with regard to one rank, one pension. And it does not only end there. There is a Supreme Court judgment which was delivered 6 years ago with regard to one rank, one pension. There was a contempt petition which was filed in the month of July by one of the officers saying that the judgment is not being implemented.
And what do the government's lawyers do? The additional Solicitor General goes to the Supreme Court, opposes that contempt petition and is told by the judges that enough is enough. We've given you 6 years. This needs to be implemented. Please remember that these were the commitments you had made in your own manifesto. So what are we talking about? Procedural issues and unimplementability.
All right, Manish, one moment.
If these guys are not able to implement
disagrees with what you're saying.
then they should just get out.
Okay, have you finished your diatribe, Manish? Have you done? Can we others talk?
I don't even know who you are. Would you like to
Mr. PN Vijay over here, Manish.
Identify yourself. I'm sorry I came to the program a little late.
PN Vijay, Mr. PN Vijay, go ahead.
Why you are suffering from amnesia? We shared a platform.
Oh, Mr. Vijay.
Are you done?
You were sitting next to me. I joined the program late. But
it's all right.
Your voice was sounding a little hoarse. Maybe you were shouting slogans at Jantar Mantar Road against one rank, one pension.
UPA had 35 years. 35 years, ask these gentlemen. They did a dam. Okay, they did a dam. Now, we picked up the ball. We picked up the ball all right. We have made the allocation of 25,000 crores. And again, I come to the point. There is the question of the Jawans. How much are they going to get? The number may be very small.
Can I seek a clarification?
Yeah,
This 25,000 crore allocation is the entire pension budget or additional for OROP?
No, this is for additional OROP we have done. We have done enough provision.
No, I don't think this.
No, I'll tell you, we have done enough provision.
Sorry,
we have done
2 lakh crores.
No.
There's something wrong.
We have done enough provision.
Very wrong.
Mathematics is very poor.
We have done enough provision.
Something very wrong.
No, we have done enough provision.
Enough doesn't matter. 25, what is 25,000
This is absolutely
we have done
ridiculous that they made an additional allocation of 25,000.
Let him answer this clarification. Go ahead.
Vishnu, you just understand. This process will take, the budget is from 1st April to 31st March.
Yes.
We have made our estimation of when this will get paid.
Yes.
There is also a 1 year payment to be made, etc.
Yes.
The numbers have been worked out on certain assumptions. Okay. There is, let me again say, there is enough provision in the budget. The money is not a constraint on this.
But what is 25,000 crores?
No, are you talking about, I heard
all
24,000 crores.
Papers.
You are now saying 25,000 crores. This is an interesting detail. Are you therefore referring to...
This figure is put out.
I'm a bit surprised on this. I'm a bit surprised.
Group Captain Gandhi, go ahead. Yes.
We have been told even yesterday that there is a problem of the money, that government does not have 16,000 crores to give it to us.
Who told you?
Mr. Rajiv Chandrasekhar.
Rajiv Chandrasekhar.
1 minute. Let me explain to you. Another problem is that we've been told continuously that please lower your expectations. We've been told that government cannot pay you from 1/4/14 and they want to pay you from 1/4/15. Number 3, they are expecting us to lower.
But Mr. Vijay has made an important point. Mr. Vijay has made the point that there is money available, 25,000 crores.
Frankly, I think in this too many freelancers are getting involved.
But he, with credibility, is talking about 25,000
yes,
crores.
I will say.
This is the number now doing the round.
The government,
if 25,000 crore is available, the total budget required for the one pension for 2 years is only 16,000 crores.
I know that.